When you've done the things that Fujimoto has done and written the stories and the tragedies that Fujimoto has written, there's really only one thing left to do at this point: kill off the main character. And that is seemingly what Fujimoto was leading us to believe, and personally, I don't believe it. I believe Denji will survive this attack from Yoru, due to him being a fiend. But I've seen a few skeptics provide reasons as to why he won't be turned into a Denji spinal cord. But before we get into all that, let's go through the chapter and break it right down. The chapter opens up with Denji racking his brain about his decision to obey Asa's requests and commands, basically, after he recently just decided that he's going to be a free-thinking man for himself, and he's weighing up the options of obeying Asa and having a request granted. And then all of a sudden, boom, a penguin is floating towards Denji, and naturally Denji catches the penguin, and then boom, is warped to the outside due to Asa having turned the entire aquarium into a fucking spear. And if you think I just missed anything out there, then no, that's just Fujimoto's pacing literally going from 0 to 100. That all happens within the space of 2 pages. Fujimoto pacing is insanity. But we also learn that the devil trapping them inside of the aquarium isn't actually the Eternity Devil, rather it's actually some random finger devil that honestly looks like one of the monsters from Amnesia. Maybe Fujimoto drew some inspiration from that, or maybe not, who knows. We don't know with Fujimoto. But that devil, after having just been exposed, then starts to scream and mock Asa, screaming that 1 million yen isn't enough to buy an aquarium, you f***ing moron. And honestly, this panel just made me laugh out loud, because the dude gets exposed like a snail getting its shell ripped off it, and he just resorts to insults, and honestly, I find that kind of funny, because it's almost just like a child throwing a tantrum. But it also made me laugh that this devil also has a concept of yen and how much an aquarium costs, which is just wild to me. But then the devil goes on to call Famine a bitch and says that this just wasn't part of the plan, and he then proceeds to attack Asa, and he's promptly stopped by Yoshida, who's using a hand seal almost exactly like Gojo Satoru's from Jujutsu Kaisen, friend of the show, which probably isn't anything knowing Fujimoto, but it may be a little nod to old Gege Akatami over there. But Yoshida stops this devil, and Yoru takes back over Asa and says that the guilt of ruining an aquarium, You're really feeling guilty over that? That's just like you, Asa. She then deflects the devil's attacks by spinning the spear around and delivers the most cheesy 90s action hero one-liner in the series. 1 million yen is not enough to cover that, you say? I've got the rest for you right here. And Yoru proceeds to throw the spear straight through the unnamed devil, completely and utterly decimating him. While all this is happening, Denji is just here having the time of his life snuggling with a penguin, and honestly, I'm glad my man Denji got to see himself and hold a penguin. And when we think about it, this is kind of foreshadowing the last panel. Fujimoto gave Denji some happiness, and he's only going to just yank it away the same way he does every time our boy is happy. But then we cut to Yoshida and Famine having this weird stare off, almost as if there's something between them. And I'm going to make a wild and baseless accusation, right? So just hold on to your hats. Yoshida is the Death Horseman. It's a wild and baseless accusation, I know, but here's my reasoning. He's an incredibly knowledgeable and talented devil hunter who seems to know a lot more than he's letting on, and there's definitely something about Yoshida that I just don't trust. He reminds me of Gin from Bleach, this wild card smiling assassin. But like I said, it's a wild and baseless accusation, but what fun is manga without thinking up of crazy theories, right? Let me know in the comments what you think of that one. Denji then walks Asa home, and the two reminisce on their date, and Denji reminds Asa that she said that she'd grant him any request. This is where Denji requests a second date, and honestly, I'm all for this Denji-Asa relationship. It doesn't feel forced at all for me, and I feel like the two feel like this misfit perfect pick for each other, with them both being troubled teens basically, and I could see them learning to have some sort of normality, learning off each other's experiences and dealing with each other's devils basically, metaphorically and literally. However, Fujimoto just says no straight away. And Yoru intervenes, and she says, so this feeling must be love, which is a wild thing to say, because it does confirm that Asa has actual feelings. Either that, or Yoru is just manipulating Asa into feeling like she feels like that. It makes me feel like I believe it more, because Asa then gets all flustered at the statement, and then Yoru intervenes once again and said, this is perfect, we can move ahead with the plan. Taking over Asa's body and touching Denji's head and saying, Denji, spinal cord, sword. And just like that, the chapter comes to a close on a massive, massive cliffhanger. Personally, I don't believe this will work due to Denji being a fiend, and fiends couldn't be turned into dolls during the Santa Claus attack in part 1, so it's going to be interesting to see. But overall, this chapter was an incredible, perfect example of a Fujimoto chapter. The pacing was 0 to 100, literally just like that. And all around a perfect cliffhanger for this chapter. Highly recommend you go read it if you haven't already. But that is everything from me. Let me know what you think of the chapter in the comments down below. And if you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. And yeah, as always, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Much love, big kisses, bye-bye.